in a reasonable manner and get to a conclusion. And the other wonderful part about collaborative divorce is we use specialists to deal with the areas, for instance, financial neutrals. Rather than each of the attorneys spending hours reviewing financial matters, we all agree upon a financial neutral who is able to assemble the information for us, present it, create budgets for the couple, and this is done with no contention. Everybody understands the neutral is there to assist the process, and we certainly get where we're going.
Harriette, you mentioned before about the emotion. We're talking about the emotional needs and the family counselor. We haven't spoken about children yet, but I wanted to ask you, we talk about the angst, we talk about the anger. Somebody at some point is probably going to either have or be tempted to have some angry words or say something nasty or have an outburst. Is that the responsibility of the family specialist to quell that or to coach them out of that type of language?
Well, actually, the truth is that each of the participants, all of the professionals are really trained. We've taken the training to understand how to respond to some of the, excited or angst that comes out in the process. But you're right. Often the family specialist will be able to stop our discussion. We may take a break and talk to the party that has lost some control or, is demonstrating extreme upset and is able to help them regain the composure that we need to have to go forward. But yes, this is, we're all humans there, and there are times that, people lose it. We're able to deal with it. All of us are trained so that we can express an empathy that many attorneys have not learned to do in the traditional adversarial arena. And that's what makes this, it is a beautiful blend of perspectives that are given to the client, rather than have one attorney represent each of the parties and use their adversarial skills to get to a conclusion. We now are able to take a blended approach. We have the legal approach. We have the financial specialist who is a neutral, trying to get to the parties to where each of them have to be, and we have the neutral family specialist who can moderate the feelings and help people, get to the process. It's a wonderful experience, and it is something that many of the members of my group are trying to bring to Long Island so that we can spread the word and, if you will, pay it forward, Bonnie, to those people who are going to be facing divorce in the future. And, based on what we're seeing, we know that 50% of marriages today are facing divorce. Right now, because the economy is not good, people are really staying in place. But ultimately, they're going to get to a place where they need to end the marriage and continue the family.
Now, let's talk about the family, Harriette. We haven't touched on that yet. Let's take the presumption that there are children under the age of majority, so under 18, under 16, children
under 21 for New York.
Under 21, thank you, whose daily well-being and caretaking revolves around one or both parents having a direct involvement. And here the family is breaking up. Presumably there will be multiple households, at least two, and there will be some kind of splitting of that, attending to the children's needs, whether it's school, medical care, social needs, carpooling, soccer practice, you name it. Kids demand a lot of attention, and raising a child properly revolves around and is integral to the lifestyle of the parents, to their ability to love and to nurture the children, regardless of what's going on in the parent's life. That's a very, very big order for a lot of people. So how does collaborative divorce address the needs of the child who could be right in the middle?
Well, I have to say, we start by speaking to both of the parents to have them identify the roles that they want to continue in the children's lives. You know, each of us parent differently, have different styles, but we're afraid that when the divorce is finished, our parental stature will be affected. So we begin by talking to the parents to say, how do you see your parenting roles? And what is so wonderful here, again, with the help of the neutral family specialist, we can start almost from the beginning to structure the actual parenting times that each of the parties are going to have. They get to try it out to see how it affects the children, how, it affects the parents. Often, if an issue is raised, a child might be having some special difficulty, we can bring in child specialists. These are people who have a great deal of professional expertise who can meet with the children, meet with the parents, and give the family some direction. This is not long-term therapy, it's really helping people get themselves redirected into new roles. So what we start to do, Bonnie, almost from the get-go, from the beginning, is we start trying out the new parenting roles, and we see what works and what doesn't work. And the parties don't have to be concerned that they're putting words on paper and they may be eliminating, missing a point and afraid that they're going to have to come back to court to redo their agreement, because in this process, we get to try on what works. And when it works, the parties know and they can go forward with confidence. So the children really become a major focus from the beginning. And, I would say that every one of our professionals is committed to enhancing the children's welfare, notwithstanding the divorce. And I know it sounds pretty lofty, but many of our clients who come to us are saying, we know that we're getting divorced, but we want to do what's best for the children. And that's a very important focus, a shared focus, which we build on, and we help people get to that point of where they want. Now, how could you put a dollar value on that? How can you say to a client, how can you say to someone it will cost you X dollars to develop your parenting plan and your future? It's a question that really isn't appropriate when we're talking about real divorce concern. What you want to do is get to the end, get to a place where your family can continue.
And that's probably the part that seldom comes up in a heated courtroom drama. Harriette, is there any way to predict, and I don't want to pin you down, but any way to predict the length of the collaborative process? Let's say a couple becomes aware of it. Let's say, I believe Robin Williams and his wife a couple of years ago were one of the first celebrity couples to embrace the concept and actually go through a collaborative divorce. That's well known in the media. Based on that, would somebody say, gee, honey, let's be common sense about this, or let's put our anger aside, let's try collaborative divorce? From the time they pick up the phone and call collaborative dispute resolutions or another firm, whoever they're calling, Harriette, from the time they make that first appointment, is there any way to judge weeks or months that a typical collaborative divorce would take?
You know, Bonnie, this is, again, something that is entirely within the control of the couple. There are no courts that we have to wait for or be involved in. So if a couple comes in and says, and are agreed that they want to start the process and have it take a particular time, you know, they want to do it in two months or 3 months, we can schedule our meetings and our negotiations to accomplish that schedule. But what often happens many, many times, there will be a disparity in where the clients are. One of the parties will have adjusted to the reality of the divorce, which is a traumatic experience, and they're ready to take the last steps, you know, to negotiate and bring things to a conclusion, while their partner has been, you know, shocked and surprised, not really ready to get to that point. And we recognize this. Collaborative attorneys understand this imbalance, and often we will have to set the pace of the process to the slower participant, to the participant who may not be emotionally ready to enter negotiations. So we can identify that, and we will have to say we can't do it in 3 months. This can take 6 months. And
Harriette, there's so much to talk about with collaborative divorce, and you know, believe it or not, we're almost at the end of a half hour. It did go fast.
Goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
Well,
now, what I would like to do is we're going to wrap up in just a second, but I'd like to quickly give a couple of the upcoming topics with some of your colleagues, if I may, so that people will know what to expect. So next week, I believe, we're going to be speaking with Roxanne Pollock, who's a Ph.D., and we're going to do a case study called A Voice for the Children in the Divorce Process, a jumping-off point from what Harriette is discussing now. After that, we'll meet with Nancy Kay, who's a certified financial analyst. We'll talk about your financial future, top 5 steps before starting a divorce. After that, we will meet with another psychologist, Harry Graybars, Ph.D. He'll talk about the role of the neutral family specialist, as Harriette mentioned, keeping an eye on the whole family, and then we'll go on with some more lawyers from your group. Harriette, a couple wrap-up sentences, if you please.
Well, I want to say to everyone who is listening, let's go collaborative. If you know anyone who is thinking about a divorce, really must send them to our website, CDRLI, and contact one of us for a consultation. This really is the way to divorce from here on in.
Well, I want to thank you, Harriette M. Steinberg, Esquire, and they can also go to your blog at thesmarterdivorce.wordpress.com. I'm going to play a little music going out. I'm Bonnie D. Graham. Thank you for joining us, for listening. Tell everybody you know, if they're even remotely thinking about a divorce, to tune into The Collaborative Divorce on Blog Talk Radio. And Harriette, have a great week, and we will talk to you and your colleagues coming up again on blogtalkradio.com/The Collaborative Divorce. See you soon, Harriette. Thanks a lot. Good night.
Great.